Today we are going to continue from the place where we left in the last session. So I am going to give an introduction to the tools and techniques of inventory management, that is inventory control techniques we call it. Okay. So you can take a snapshot or a photo of this particular slide. So there are so many techniques of inventory management or inventory control management. The first one is ABC analysis. The second one is economic order quantity. The third one is order point problems. Two bean technique, VED classification of the goods or the inventory, HML classification of inventory, SDE classification of inventory, FSN classification of inventory, order cycling time, system, and just in time, and so many other things. But I expect that this are to be taken up by you in the examination. You can throw light on all these inventory control techniques. So as I know, I remember that I spoke about ABC analysis, but still I will give an understanding about ABC analysis. In this particular inventory control technique, in this type of inventory control technique or ABC analysis, the goods are divided into three parts. That the goods are classified or the inventory is classified into three parts, ABC analysis. That is A category, B category, and C category. And remember, this is adopted across the industry. Across the industry, it is this particular classification technique is used across the industry. And let me take an example of uh, Star Bazaar, Star Bazaar or Star Bazaar or DMart. DMart. Okay. So in case of DMart, you if you observe carefully and keenly, if you observe it very closely, all the products can be majorly divided into three categories: A category, B category, and C category. So I will give a small example of A category. For example, cashew nuts. Cashew nuts. It's very costly item, and you can't keep it loosely, and you should preserve it properly. You should monitor this particular item very closely, and there should not be any scope for pilferage. Number one, means chori na ho jaye. Number two is B category. B category can be something like I will tell you, it's about food items or grains, or that is I will call it rice, wheat, etc. And last item is sundry items like onions. Okay, what I did, I classified the categories of the inventory into three parts. One is very costly one, number one, and second is moderately costly one, and third one is the lowest lowest value, lowest lowest price. Okay, so this is very important. So what I have to do as a store manager or a manager of that this particular retail outlet, I should have a keen what do you call, I have to closely observe this particular product. This is also, but this is negligible. And please remember cashew nuts. As I told you, cashew nuts was my example. Cashew nuts, it's I am going to purchase 15 kilos. As far as rice is concerned, I am going to purchase 30 kilos. And as far as onions is concerned, I am going to purchase and store 55 kilos. So out of 100 kilos of the total inventory what I have, 15% belongs to 15% belongs to cashew nuts. Okay, 30% belongs to rice, and the last one is onions, which is 55%. So 15 plus 30 plus 55 is 100%. So lowest quantity is this one, medium quantity is this one, and highest quantity is this one. Now 15 kilos is my cashew nuts. 1 kilo is 1,000 rupees. So the total investment is 15,000 rupees. Rice, every kilo is some 40 rupees if I am correct, or 50 rupees I will take. So 1,500 rupees. And onions, there is 55 kilos, and each kilo is 4 rupees, or for example 10 rupees, which is 550. So total is around 1700, 1750. So out of 1750, this is almost 80 percentage. The amount of investment in this one, that is cashew nuts, is 80 percentage. This one is 17 percentage. This is only 3 percentage. Now look here. So the quantity is 15 percentage, but the amount or the value of the goods is 80 percentage. In the second case, the quantity is 30 percentage, but the value is 17 percentage. As far as the onions is concerned, 55% is of the total quantity is onions, but the amount invested is only 3 percentage. So when I am talking about ABC analysis, A stands for high value and low quantity, whereas C is concerned low value. The value is only 550 rupees, but quantity is 55 kilos. And B is moderately valued and moderately in quantity terms. So every organization, whether it is a retailer, a two-wheeler, or a three-wheeler, or a electronic industry, or a fast-moving consumable goods item, they have to identify their products according to this phenomenon or analysis, which is a inventory control technique, and they should concentrate on these two items only. This is to be ignored because this is high in quantity but low in value. Hope you have understood this particular phenomenon. Next one is economic order quantity. So economic order quantity, I told you about ordering cost and varying cost. Now ordering cost, if you order one unit and you're procuring it and storing it, the total cost is something like 500 rupees per unit. And if you're on the contrarian, purchasing in bulk, some 10,000 units at a time, the the total cost will be 5 rupees. So to trade off the balance between ordering cost and carrying cost and the total cost, we have a technique called as EOQ, economic order quantity. The formula for economic order quantity is given by the formula 2AO by C. As I already told in the previous class, it is 2AO by C, and there is even a mechanism or a process to derive this particular formula, but we are not interested in that one. So what is A? A is annual consumption of the material, O is ordering cost, and C is carrying cost. So this is the way I have the formula for you. Now let's take up this full form of 2AO by C. 2AO by C. Some people use some notations, but you can use. You have to just remember them. Okay. U stand for annual usage or annual demand. That is the same, annual consumption. P stands for order costing or cost of placing an order. Order costing or placing an order. S stands for carrying cost, inventory carrying cost, or inventory storage cost. Okay. Until this point, I feel that you are understood it. So there is a diagram for finding out an economic order quantity. This is the quantity you have to order, and which will minimize the total cost per order and the number of orders that are going to be placed in a year. Now let's take up a small problem. And we will arrive at our answer of how to find out economic order quantity. So the problem goes like this. The company requires in a year 1600 tires. So this company is Tata Motors, and the Tata Motors require every year 1600 units of tires. The cost of placing an order, बोले तो जब भी उनको ऑर्डर प्लेस करना है, भैया हम लोगों को टायर्स भेजो बोल के MRF को बोलेगा. So they have to make a call, they have to send a courier, they have to send some communication, and per order, whenever they are ordering on telephone or mobile or any other internet mode of communication or any other mode of communication, per order the cost of placing an order is 50 rupees. Next one is you want to purchase the raw material. This is tire. The cost per unit of tire is, अगर आपको टायर खरीदना है तो 10 rupees per unit का टायर लगेगा. And he has told in the problem that the inventory carrying cost is, or storage cost we can call it, is 10% per annum. Okay, so with this we will calculate economic order quantity. So the formula is 2AO by C. So 2 stands for 2, numerical 2. A stands for annual demand or consumption of the particular item which you want to order. O is ordering cost per order, and C is the inventory carrying cost. I told you at length the different items or different costs which are which aggregate the inventory carrying cost. So let's do the problem and solve the problem and find out what is the how much order we have to release at any given period of time. That is the economic order quantity. So this is 2A. A is annual consumption. The annual consumption is 1600 units into ordering cost. Whenever I order, to place an order, it will cost me 50 rupees divided by C, carrying cost. Carrying cost is nothing but it is given. The carrying cost is 10% of the material cost. So 10 into 10 rupees into 10%, which is to my knowledge 1 rupee. So if I calculate this, I will get 400 units. So whenever I want to order tires, I should not order less than this or more than this. I have to place an order for 400 units. Means whenever I am ordering, I am making a call to MRF tires, to the particular section or the department. I will tell them to supply 400 units only, because at 400 units, the total cost as well as the ordering cost and the place and the inventory carrying cost and the total cost are optimal or minimal or there is a optimization which is taking place. So 400 units I have to order. This is the answer to calculate your inventory economic order quantity. Now, how many orders will be placed during the year? So the total requirement is 1600 units. So how many units you are going to put an order at any time? 400 units. So how many orders you have to place? You have to place 4 orders. So once 400, first time 400, second time 400, third time 400, and fourth time 400. So every order is a 400, 400, 400, and 400. Total you got 1600. So in a year you have to place how many orders? 4 orders. So 12 months divided by 4 is equal to 3 months. So every 3 months you have to order 400 units. Every 3 months you have to order 400 units. I will repeat once again. Just pay attention. Very important concept which may be used by you in your future when you are working in an organization. 3 important concepts are there. Very important. Let me reiterate or rediscuss once again. So 2AO. A is annual consumption into ordering cost, which is 50 rupees by 10 into 10%. So roughly, not roughly, exactly you will get 400 units. So the economic order quantity means whenever you order or place an order for the replenishment of raw material, you have to order 400 units. This is the first answer. The second answer. So this is the first answer. Economic order quantity, you have to order at any time 400 units. Now second one. Now what is the second one? The second one is total number of orders. Total number of orders you are placing in a year. Now this is given by the formula annual consumption by EOQ. That is equal to see, you require 1600 units for the full year, and as already calculated, at any time you have to give an order for 400 units. So you will get 4 answer. Means in an year you have to place 4 orders. One for 400, another for 400, another for 400, another for 400. Total you will get 1600 units. So first order, second order, third order, and fourth order. So how many orders you are going to place? 4 orders. 4 orders you are going to place in a year. 4 orders you are going to place in a year, and each order will be of 400 units or quantity or pieces. Next one. Now, when are you going to order? The answer for when are you going to order is 12 months by number of orders in a year. Number of orders in a year. In a year. That is given by the formula 12 months by 4 orders is equal to 3 months. Means every 3 months you have to put an order. 3 months. First 3 months 400. Second 3 months. Second 3 months 400. Next 3 months 400. And last 3 months 400. So 12 months you will get your annual requirement of 1200 sorry 1600 units. So hope you are understood it. Your one is EOQ, number of orders, and how many when to order. Next one is very important one. So this among this I will take up this one. Among this I will take this one, and the remaining you can remember the formulas. Reorder level I am going to talk about. Okay, and this one I am going to talk about. These two I am going to talk about because these two I feel is very very important. So please keep your eye to these two formulas. Reorder point बोले तो हम लोगों को कब ऑर्डर करना है. जैसे कि today I found that in the morning when I got up, I am habituated to drink. I am habituated to drink coffee or tea, and unfortunately or accidentally I found that the tea powder is exhausted. There is no tea powder in the container, and I got irritated because if I don't consume tea in the morning, I get irritated and the day goes wrong. Means something has gone wrong in my planning. Means I did not order in time. So you have to reorder. You have to order in time so that there is there is no what do you call shortage of your raw material. So this is what we are going to discuss as far as ordering point is concerned. At what point you have to order, at what stage you have to order. Okay, I do, so this concept is around this particular point, which is lead time. Lead time. If you look at this, this is very very important. Lead time. Again, I am discussing about with you the word the concept lead time. Lead time is nothing but the time taken to get the raw material required by you or by the manufacturer once he has placed the order. For example, MRF and Tata Motors. So Tata Motors is in Pune and MRF is in Madras. So this guy has put an order for 1,000 units, 1 lakh tires. 1 lakh 1 lakh tires. Now this 1 lakh tires, he will not immediately transport it because he has to produce it. He has to procure the raw material. He has to manufacture the finished goods, and then he has to transport, and logistics have to be arranged. And there is a distance between Pune and Maharashtra and Madras or Chennai, and the journey is for 15 days. You have to place for an order for wagon. You have to place an order for logistics, so on and so. There are so many points here. So it may take some 40 days. So this 40 days is called as a lead time. Hope you have understood. If you have not understood, again you read books and understand the concept. I give you an example here. So 40 days. Another example I will give you: sugar cane and sugar manufacturing company. Sugar manufacturing company. Now sugar cane, there are farmers here, and sugar manufacturing plant is here. For example, the distance between the sugarcane manufacturer and the plant is some 1500 kilometers, example, or 300 kilometers, or it is almost the journey is of 6 days. So once he orders for this many number of tons of sugarcane, it will take to replenish the order or to get the fulfillment of order 40 days. This is called as lead time. So lead time plays a vital role in deciding how much quantity you have to store in your factory or in your showroom, in your storeroom, so that you will not run short of production or shortage of raw material. So the first formula is danger level. The first formula is danger level. बोले तो ये लेवल के नीचे नहीं आना चाहिए अपना रॉ मटेरियल। स्टोर रूम में अपना रॉ मटेरियल इस लेवल के नीचे आ गया समझो, देन यू आर इन ए very deadly situation. It's a very precarious situation, and you are going to run shortage of raw material. If there is no raw material in the production, then the production will be hampered. There will be interruption in the production of the raw material of the finished goods. So the first is how to calculate danger level. Danger level is average consumption per day into lead time. So average consumption, already I told you the lead time in case of Tata Motors is 45 days from MRF. And average consumption of tires, every day they consume 4,000 tires. From the previous data, what they have found that the number of tires they are consuming on an average is equal to 1,000 units. So what is danger level here? 45,000. So 45,000 के आने, अगर अपने स्टोर रूम में 45,000 के ऊपर है तो चलेगा, ये 45,000 के नीचे आ गया तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. So whenever the stock is coming or approaching this particular point of 45,000 units, you have to immediately reorder, because you will take 45 days to get what you have ordered. So hope you have understood what is danger level. Next one is reorder level, means at what point you have to reorder. what point you have to reorder, means इतना लेवल के ऊपर स्टॉक आ गया, रॉ मटेरियल आ गया, तो अभी ऑर्डर करना पड़ेगा. सो द फॉर्मूला इज डेली यूसेज into lead time plus safety stock, means this stock I want to keep. So daily how much I am using on an average 1,000 units into lead time is 45 days. So 45,000 plus 5,000 safety stock. I want to keep on safety side 5,000 extra stock. So 50,000 इधर आ गया समझो. मटेरियल, रॉ मटेरियल अपने पास इतना ही है. द quantity of raw material which is there in the stock room is 50,000. At this point you have to order. This is called as ordering point. And then you have minimum level, maximum level, and average stock level. These formulas you can remember and use in your examination. Next one is two bin technique. Next one is two bin technique. This technique again revolves is revolving under the around the concept called as lead time, and even it's about danger level and reorder point. Two bin technique. What do you mean by two bin technique? Control of category C inventories. I told you about ABC technique, and I told you about what is C category. High quality, high quantity, but low price, low value. But this can also hamper this particular raw material or inventory can hamper your production, because if you run short of nuts and bolts or onions also, it's not worthwhile. It's not a conducive environment, because they also participate in profitability. Now first bin, there are two bins. Bins बोले तो box जैसा रहता है. First bin is just enough to last from the date a new order is placed until it is received. Today I ordered, that is on 1/10/2020, and 15 days, 15/10/2020, I am going to, this is the lead time. After on 16th, I am going to receive the goods. So first bin is whatever, just look at this definition, just enough to last from the date of order to the point when it is replenished or you are getting back what. So during these 15 days, whatever requirement of your raw material is there, you have that much of quantity of raw material. This is the first bin. बोले तो उस particular store room में इतना raw material रहेगा, which is I will call it as a danger level. Okay. Next one is second bin. Second bin is enough to meet current demand over the period of replenishment. Current demand. Now, what do you mean by current demand? Today, the demand, for example, 2 days, the demand will be some 500 tires. So in the second bin, there will be 500 tires. That's it. I am not going to discuss a lot about the second bin and the first bin. These are common concepts. Next one is classifying the goods according to VED. VED, very important classification method, which is used in case of inventory control technique, in particular, specifically used for spare parts. Spare parts, okay? Vital, essential, and desirable. Vital, essential, and desirable. Vital means, for example, I will tell you very important. Vital. Laptop is one example you can take. Laptop is a particular product, and the inventory or the material which goes into the manufacturing of laptop are motherboard, motherboard, number one, number two, monitor, and number three is example. Okay, I'm just classifying motherboard. Number one, motherboard. Number two is monitor. Number three is keyboard. Okay, keyboard. Now, motherboard is I will consider it as vital. Monitor is essential, or CPU. You can consider CPU, and keyboard and monitor as desirable, because see, motherboard is not available that in quantity, and it takes there is a lot of lead time which takes place. So you have to store good number of units, because if you run shortage of motherboards, to procure this one, there is a huge amount of lead time which takes place. So that lead time has to be considered, and this particular product is very, very vital in production of laptop. Whereas the keyboard and monitor are not that important, because they are ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means they are freely available, and you can make it available at the from the nearest point. So you have to design your inventory in such a way that which are the ones which are very, very important, which are the ones which are not important, which are just desirable. These are vital. Essential is in between the inventory level, inventory classification, vital and desirable. The same technique can be used even in case of a hospital industry. For example, kidney. Kidney is vital, and blood is desirable. But out of in blood also we have O positive, which can be kept as vital. Yeah, I want to store it in. This is a vital product. High stock has to be maintained, moderate stock level, and minimum stock level. So wherever you are working, whether you are working in a X industry or a Y industry, you have to identify your product. You have to classify your product based upon this technique called as VED: vital, essential, and desirable. Hope you have understood it. Next one. Next one is HML classification of inventory. HML classification of inventory. Now, what do you mean by HML classification of inventory? HML classification of inventory. HML classification of inventory is nothing but it is high value, medium value, and low value. High value, medium value, and low value. Now, high value. These goods are of high value. These goods can be classified according to medium value, and these goods can be classified as low value. Again, the same example: laptop. Laptop, the motherboard is a very costly item, which is almost, for example, motherboard is, out of the total value of 50,000 rupees, motherboard is almost 20,000 rupees, which is 40 percentage, which is 40 percentage. Whereas monitor and keyboard are low value items. Keyboard are low value items. Whereas battery and CPU are medium value. So you have to classify the goods according to high value, medium value, and low value, and concentrate on those two items. This item is not that costly item, or the value is very low. For example, in case of a inventory, sorry, in case of I will call it as a automobile industry. Automobile industry, engine is very costly. For example, the car is some 4 lakh rupees, the engine is some 1.5 lakh rupees. So this is a high value goods. Whereas nut bolts, screws, etc. are low values, and medium values are tires, clutch, etc. So you have to put your efforts in monitoring this particular item, and you have to negotiate with the vendor that you should supply them at a reasonable price, and scope for controlling cost is very there is a scope for controlling the cost. Next one is fast moving, slow moving, and you have to divide again the inventory based upon how fast they are moving, how slow they are moving, and some products are non-moving. Some products are non-moving. For example, you go to Patanjali, Patanjali, Patanjali Ayurvedic showroom or dealer. This guy has to adapt properly this one. Which are the ones which are fast moving? Which are the ones which are slow moving? Which are the ones which are non-moving? If there are some elements which are non-moving, then he will bring it to the notice of the manufacturer and tell that these particular products are non-moving, so stop production, stop production, stop producing them. Whereas fast moving, he will bring it to the notice of the manufacturer that these are fast moving, and he will place a bulk order for this particular product. Hope you have understood it. So if it is very fast moving, there should be large quantities of items which have to be stored, because you should not run shortage, because the customers are always desiring for this particular product. So you have to identify this product, and then you have to place a bulk order, so that whenever there is a customer who is coming and asking for a inventory of this fast moving goods, you should be able to sell it to him, or he should be able to be he will be a satisfied customer. Non-moving, it is a inventory wastage, I will call it inventory wastage, and you have to eliminate it, eradicate it, and you should not place an order for this. So this is about FSN, HML, VED. Hope you have understood it. Next one is the other item is order cycling time. Periodic review are made of each inventory, and orders are placed to restore stock to a prescribed stock level. Means, for example, uh, periodic review. For example, I am talking about for example, Pulse chocolate, Pulse chocolate, Pulse chocolate. Okay, for example, I went to a retailer and asked for a dabba of a container full of Pulse chocolate. He just looked into the shop and told that no, he doesn't have it. Now the reason why he is not having is he has not made a periodic review of what are the items which are there in the inventory. So periodic review of each and every item, and then place it for replenishment, store it to a prescribed level. Just in time. Next one is just in time, means whenever you require, you put an order for the material or for the equipment or for the inventory. The just in control system implies that the firm should maintain a minimum level of inventory, means almost I will call it as minimal or optimally low level of inventory should be there in the storeroom. And whenever you require, just to put an order, and immediately the order is taken, and the manufacturer is manufacturing and supplying it. And it depends upon the supplier who is able to supply the goods in time. So just in inventory is also called as zero inventory production system, means you invest zero amount in inventory, zero inventory management system, or materials as per needed, or neck in time inventory, or zero inventories. So this is all about inventory control techniques. Hope you have understood it. And with this, I am ending the class. And if you have just a moment, please wait for 1 second. I'm if you